I can say so much about women. Thank you, Barbara.
I told you she was a teacher. I rest my case. But Anne, intentional, being confident, believing I can do it. But I also think, yes, it is okay to look good. Don't forget about looking good, no? In the process. But thank you so much for that, because it actually, I like it again, she says it like it is, and women sometimes we don't like this criticism. We think that, you know, but she's actually saying things, yes, if it hurts you, that means you have to do something about it. Simon, darling, over to you.
Thank you, Barbara. Wow, what a presentation. Honor, you have, I call him Honor because of many reasons, including the fact that we are time bad. So if I can shorten anything, even so much the better. So Honor. Earlier on we spoke about the glass ceiling that seems to afflict women in their growth through their path of career growth and development. So tonight I would want you to speak towards breaking that glass ceiling together. Men as allies in empowering women leaders. Because one, you're a man in a capacity that you're a father. There is some glass ceiling you can break for your daughters. There is a glass ceiling you can break for your dear wife. You are an executive at board level. There are glass ceilings certainly that you can break to enable the empowerment of women. Speak to us not in the ones and zeros, but in the actualities of how we men, Abasajja, can help work with the ladies to break that glass ceiling. Honor, please.
Thank you, Simon. First of all, you and Barbara have conferred me the title of the ladies' man. But I must confess that when I received this invitation to be the only man on a women's panel, I got a bit of a fright. I told the young man who was coordinating the invitation precisely that, man, will I survive? Because, you know, Simon, the situation of one man, many women is no longer fashionable. So I had to make sure I can survive. But seriously, before I answer your question, for me, my being the Lone Ranger or being the lone male voice on the panel precisely answers the question of working together between men and women to break the ceiling of inequality. It's not that I'm one man here and there are many women. The reverse could also be that there would be many men on the panel with one woman. To me, that is not the most important thing. The most important thing is the quality of the individual on the panel, in the leadership team. So we shouldn't, using this panel as an example, we should not emphasize quantity to begin with. We should emphasize quality. Because if we emphasize quantity, ticking the box, we shall all lose. And as the guest of honor, and I think professors indicated, the place of men in the lives of women is a natural thing. That does not need any debate. In fact, I looked at a man who lives on average to 70 years and has been to university, spends about only 20% of his life seemingly independent of a woman. The other 80% is in a firm grip of a woman. 9 months in the womb, no room for maneuver. About up to maybe up to 5 years, mommy's baby, or in the hands of a house helper who is invariably a woman, in the hands of a nursery teacher who is invariably a woman, and then you have a slight break of about 13 years to do primary and secondary. then you enter university, get a girlfriend, and then the rest, marriage, until you, death do you part. So basically we are in the hands of women, and nicely so. So I struggle to find any reason why any man would not see empowering women as a natural thing. Because you have basically spent your life in the hands of women and you have enjoyed it. So why would you struggle to see women as natural partners? But then specifically, what are some of the, from my own experience, I think it has been mentioned, but I'll just emphasize the major thing that women need to thrive. First of all, I must say, from all the experience, all the women I've worked with all due respect to men, I think they are better workmates than men. And I've always almost run the risk of really wanting ladies to be in my team. One of them is walking just in front of me. We work together in the Alcohol Industry Association. Until lately, she was the Secretary General. I was the chairman, now is the chair. And I'm very happy that she's the chair. And I'm now, she runs the things even when I was the chair. So women are very good at taking delegation in good faith, and they execute. Sometimes women may think you are being undermined when someone tries to delegate you, you are loading me too much, and maybe it's the man thing. So my experience, I think the most important thing is to really empower women and invariably empower men. You need a rules-based environment as opposed to a roles-based environment. Everything should be based on rules. You need systems. Most of the challenges that arise is when you do not have rules, you do not have systems, and things are left to individual whims. We are human beings, and you can easily falter. But if you have rules and people follow rules, there is no way a man and a woman will perform differently. People will fall in, people will fall out. The MD of Nation Media was with me in the same class at the university, but she has become a CEO. I have not. So you can see that when the rules are set and you have to follow the rules, men fall out sometimes, women fall in. Sometimes women fall out, men fall in. I became an MP, she did not become, because the rules, you had to win an election, she did not try. So I think rules should be the most important way of empowering women. At political level, there is nobody in this country who can debate now whether a woman can become president. There is no debate. But you have to run. We have had women running for president and they did not get enough votes. I don't want to say they lost. So you can't say that women are being denied the opportunity to become president, because the rule is clear. You must win the majority. In fact, our guest of honor, I think, tried. So I think she has left the room. She would have told us what happened. So one, let's have rules in order to empower women. But of course, rules are not enough. They are also realities. There is historical redress is needed. Even within rules, there must be consciousness that there has been historical disadvantage for women. So I think globally it's recognized that you need to have redress for the historical imbalances. How you do it should still be within the rules, but that recognition should be there. Some people call it affirmative action, some people call it anything, but it's really trying to say historically, women had been disadvantaged, and there is need to give them more attention, but within the rules. And that means we need to be transparent. Again, where there is transparency, it means the women should be able to speak, the men should be able to speak. Nothing should be under the table, shouldn't be the board chairman, shouldn't be the CEO deciding arbitrarily that somebody needs to be promoted. Are they qualified? Is there a position? We read all these things in the newspapers, on social media. Of course, there's a lot of trying to beat systems going on. And sometimes it disadvantages women when they succumb to subverting rules. Because the men then turn around and say, look, that one has just been favored. But if you get it fair and square, men will respect you, men will follow you, and your leadership will flourish. I think there's also a question of positions for their own sake. Sometimes what you need is to have elements of reward and recognition. There can only be one CEO. So not everyone has to be a CEO. But the question is, are women getting fair value for their work? Are men getting fair value for their work, given the size of the pie? Is there fair pay, equal pay based on performance, based on targets, based on whatever rules? Someone can, I know my neighbor to the left was saying women mark time is bad, but marking time with happiness, with good pay, is not necessarily a bad thing. We shouldn't just emphasize growing for the sake of growing, especially since positions will always be limited. The boards will always demand tightening of cost control. So they can also be things that may not necessarily allow everyone to grow. But so long as they are fairly rewarded, they are fairly recognized, I think women will still be empowered.
Honor, for you, I will
it's
interrupt.
just one thing, the question of emotional intelligence. Because men are men, women are women. With, again, nature has its own dictates. I think for us men, one of the biggest challenges is emotional intelligence. How do you relate with your female colleagues, female juniors? How people you supervise, people who supervise you, you maintain a level of emotional intelligence that does not make you sure that because you're a woman, you have no right to say it. Because you're a man, you have no right to say this. You need to be able to make that judgment to maintain a cordial relationship even when internally you may have reservations. Because this world is a stage. There's a bit of acting. So if you can't put up a good act whereby people are happy and continue being productive, even when you have reservations about them, knowing that they are just human, then you will always be in trouble. Simon, I don't know, am I talking too much?
No, certainly you are, we are
But
drinking.
I'm the only man. So.
We are drinking from your cup of knowledge, and Honor, precisely because you're the only man.
Ask the question.
For you, I will interrupt, and I know that we have the emotional intelligence not to have beef between each other that interrupted you, and save Barbara the burden of having to cut you short.
Yes, yes.
And because we are live on TV, and TV is a highly regulated, time efficient medium of communication.
And viewers may want to see more of women.
May want to see better things than they had been subjected to. So we may have switched. Now, as a housekeeping rule, when whatever you see on the screens means that it's live on TV. So if it is you with your mouth open, that's how you are live to your viewers at home. Barbara.
So Simon, people should not call their ancestors. We do not want to be the barrier between you and the stomachs that you have. So just lastly and briefly, Leah, putting you on the spot, we just want to talk about just something very briefly in like 2 minutes, something around overcoming imposter syndrome, this thing they call work balance. I never understand it, but I think your work and the things you love to do, or if you have family, just kind of shed just a small spotlight on what you think about that, especially where women are concerned, and every time we have an issue, it's like, my goodness, people are not thinking about me and my home. This work is taking over, yet I want to be a CEO. Shed some light.
I'll speak to imposter syndrome. Right now, you're all looking at me. You were expecting Sylvia. I'm possibly an imposter right now. But I have to speak here and share my views. And how I'm able to share how we can overcome that challenge where everybody is expecting you to be something else that you inside doubt you can deliver. And for me, it sort of rolls back to not my work experience, but also how we raise our own children. I'll give you an example. I have a 4-year-old, and every time I ask her, what do you want to be when you grow up? She says she wants to be a builder. And I know for many mothers, you sort of encourage her and say, okay, why don't you want to be a princess? Or something like that. But this is what she wants to be. But over time in life, you have experiences that make you think you can't be the same. So it's to us as we raise our children, first of all, to encourage them to chase after their dreams. It comes from very far. It's very hard to keep supporting our own women. So I want to share from, first of all, the children that we have, to encourage them from the very beginning on the dreams that they have and molding them to achieve those dreams. But if perhaps you're already 40-year-old somewhere and there's a challenge in front of you, everyone around you is an imposter to some degree. No one was born being a perfect person or whatever they're doing at that instant in time. So it's to dig deep on the experiences that you have, but also draw on the knowledge that is around you. I'll give another example. I'm doing my training, and usually at MTN, when you have to do field work, they will assign you a truck. You have to drive a truck, a country, all by yourself. So when I went to pick the truck that they assigned to me, it was my first time to drive a country in my own. And this gentleman who was handing me the truck told me, "Are you sure you can drive this thing on your own? It was a big truck, a manual truck." And to be honest, I didn't think I could. But I put on the bravest face I could and assured him I could do it, and there was no choice in the matter. I had to do it. That's that particular journey. So there is no pill for the imposter syndrome. It is finding that inner confidence that you'll figure it out. I'll probably recommend a book from my colleague here, Kathy. Everything is figure-outable. It's a really good book. There is no single pill, I'll be honest, to wake up and feel like you know everything around you. But I do believe everything is figure-outable. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Leah. And you've in what, 2 seconds, you have done a wonderful, wonderful job. You are here in your capacity as Leah. So we thank you for giving us the time. Simon, the room is bustling. You know when you hear those glasses, you know that, my dears, the time is up. The evening is just beginning. It's the weekend. It is Friday. I would like to take this chance to thank our panelists for making it here and being part of the conversation. And I am hoping that each of us is taking back something, because you can't sit for 1.5 hours and not take back anything besides the food and the drink we are going to have in the back. So please, let's give a round of applause to all our panelists for taking their time to spend their evening with us.
And earlier on, we had promised that we'd have a Q&A session. Considering the mood in the room and the fact that we have all night together, Barbara, sorry you're 24 hours ahead, it's still Thursday. But colleagues, let's have the Q&A with our panelists in situ. Make sure you speak to them directly, not through a microphone, not through the stages, the lights and everything. Why? Because we need to conclude the formalities and then get down into appreciating conversations up close and personally. How about that, Barbara?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think this is the time now. We are getting into the next part of our session where we will have a photo op, and I will invite our host to come and lead us into that next session. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. My name is Barbara Kasekende, and my co-host
Simon Kasiate.
Thank you for listening to us this evening. Enjoy, and a happy Women's Day.
Super. Super, well done, Barbara, well done, Simon. Another big round of applause. Wait a minute. Why do you guys rush too much? Wait, a big round of applause to our panelists. A big round of applause to Barbara Kasekende. Take it, my sister, take it. Another big round of applause to Simon Kasiate. Are the cameras set? Would like to have a quick photograph, a quick one, with our panelists and our board chair and our managing director and the board members present. A quick picture. Where do we do this from? Right up here? Okay, great. So, shall we please rise and take the photo? Annette, thank you so much. You've given me a lot to take home and think about, especially that thing of not rooting for one another as women. That one. Thank you. Can we get board members and our panelists in this photo? I am definitely going to join this photo as a host. Yes? Great. Thank you. Please wait, I joined the photo. Otherwise, it may not get its way to the dailies. I think we need to break the barrier there. Ona, we can't have Professor Onapito and then together, you know? Yes, let's break the barrier. Thank you so much. I'll only request. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you. Superb job right there. We appreciate you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to get into a little bit more exciting session. We've had a lot of talk. We've taken in quite a lot, and it is time to celebrate the people who are making a difference and making sure that our women are going up and staying up. You know, there is going up, but you cannot stay up for long. But we're going to celebrate quite a number of companies that have really been there to ensure that women are growing and growing real fast and growing with pace. DJ, I'll have issues with you, especially in this other segment we're going into. I have not heard any music since I entered here, and it's a celebration, as you know, so I really hope that you are all set, the production team. But before we get into the awards and the dinner, and the entertainment. By the way, there is somebody who is coming up. She's very rare. She rarely performs, but she's a woman of substance. You just don't want to miss that segment. You don't want to miss that entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite a lady who I know is super passionate, so ambitious, compassionate, empowering, inspirational woman of God. A woman of God who I know that is so passionate about brands and people and has a very great mantra. I don't know whether we have a mantra or a purpose in this room. Can you ask your neighbor, what is your purpose? They can tell you quietly. But this lady I'm about to invite has an interesting mantra. And her mantra is quite easy. Making a positive difference every day. You know, she has set standards for herself, and she has set the bar so high that every day she must make a positive impact to somebody, to society, or to the team that she leads. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me invite the NMG Uganda's first female CEO. Come on, DJ.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you all. I think we can do better. Ladies, we know we are we can speak when we want to speak. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. It is my extreme pleasure to welcome you to this inaugural event of Empower Her 2024. Please celebrate your neighbor and say that you are part of the very first Empower Her event. And you know, it looks like when we started it and I was very clear with the team that it can't just be about an event, because the theme of empowering women, empowering our gender, it has to go beyond just an event. And so for all of you who are here, we trust that you walk this journey with us beyond the awards. What else can we do through the year? And I'm glad that the team is running with this. As a female managing director in the media industry, I'm very aware of the challenges, but not just the challenges, but the triumphs that come with leadership roles. And today we celebrate the remarkable achievements of women in leadership across all sectors. When I look around, we've got CEOs, we've got executive directors, we've got principals, we've got PhD holders, doctors, doctorate holders. We've got women doing fantastic things in all sectors. And today I just want to say, on my part and on behalf of the team at NMG Uganda, that we are here to celebrate you. We are here to say, what else can we as media do in this journey of empowering women? Because you see, media plays a very important role in society. We can't just be, what else can we do? How can we lend our voice to this very important journey of empowering women? We can help shape the perception. We can help direct the narrative. Because you see, many times what you see in media is what you actually believe. So we have the power to challenge stereotypes. We have the power to tell the stories that have been untold. We also have the power to advocate for change. And so together with my team, we want to be able to see how we can harness the influence of media to advance the cause of gender equality. It has been mentioned here how women often face harassment and discrimination. And it's important that we see how can we shape this narrative so that women can be safe where they work, women can be safe in their homes, women can be safe all around. And the work doesn't end with us. We must pave the way for the next generation of leaders. And I'm glad that there are so many programs that are happening now that are grooming our young women to be the next generation of leaders through mentorship, guidance, and opportunities. And again, it's for us women to help each other up. I'll never forget having a conversation with Peter Chimboa, Peter Chimboa of CEO Summit, after I did the CEO apprenticeship program, and that was in 2014. And I remember asking him, how can I make my way up? I told him I feel I have reached a ceiling and I need to make my way up. And I asked him honestly, how can I make my way up? And I had this same conversation with a few CEOs as well. And I remember he directed me to a prominent lady, a leader in town, a director. She's very prominent. And he said, call her, send her your CV. She should be able to help you on your journey up. And that is exactly what I did. I sent her a message. I called her. I said, Peter Chimboa, who we all fondly, we call him PK. I told her, he has given me your number because he says that you can help me on my journey up. And she said, yeah, let me get back to you. And that conversation did not move beyond that, let me get back to you. And then another lady who also, at that point in time, she was on several boards, a close friend. I was like, help me. I also want to get on 2 boards. Of course, Susan, send me your CV. I sent her my CV. Susan, your CV is very good. It is actually very good. You have done so well. It is so good. I was like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Nothing. But then you see, the person who then started inviting me to join boards, like even the board of Nation Media Group, was a gentleman, was a man, not a lady. And so this whole thing that we're talking about, the ecosystem, that is the fact. That is my story. That it is not women who open the doors for me, but it is men. And yet I went looking for the women. There's another prominent woman who they told me, call her. Ask her to be your mentor because she's in that thing. Arimuchin too. Call her. I called her. She said, send me an email on what you want. I sent the email. Conversation dead. So why am I saying this? Because really, as women who are in this room, women in leadership, my call really is, let us open the doors for other women. Let us open doors. Because it's one thing, like we've said, to have these conversations, but it's another to actually act and help another woman. Show her the way. If you see her making a mistake in her career journey, show her the way. Mentor her. Tell her that that's not the way to go. Tell her that if you do this and this, you're not going to go far. As opposed to then looking and seeing the younger women make mistakes. Each and every one of us has the power to effect change, whether through small efforts every day or larger advocacy efforts like our friends from Forward Day. So in closing, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. A big thank you to all our sponsors who took a risk on us for this event. Let's carry the energy. Pick 1 or 2 things from what our panelists have said here. Pick 1 or 2 things and run with it. And together, I know that we can make a difference. Thank you so much for being part of this very important conversation.
Thank you so much. Susan, our very first female CEO. Please keep clapping about, okay, you can clap for me actually, as I go up. Yeah, thank you. It's not very easy, but as women, we have to be bold. We have to go forth with force, you know, with determination, and we have to love ourselves above all. I know that sometimes when you ask hard questions, they say that you are intimidating, especially if you're a lady. And if you ask or you take up space, they say you are too much just because you are a lady, you know? And I know we have all faced this, but what we have to do is to stay on course and remain bold. Just like Susan's voice, it is bold. Man, I don't know, I need to ask the likes of Barata how they feel during those HOD meetings when Susan speaks, because I have been in that boardroom and I'm a proud product of Nation Media Group. So I owe it to NMG and Daily Monitor. Thank you for grooming me into the person I am today. Now, moving on to awards. Exciting time that is coming. I would like to invite Peter Chambade. We are going to have dinner. Somebody is asking me, how about dinner? We are definitely going to have dinner, but first things first. Peter Chambade from KPMG, please make your way here and tell us how valid these awards are. And then we shall quickly dive into the awards and celebrate the people who are making a difference in ensuring that we get to the top as women. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All protocol observed. It is an honor and a privilege to be here today, to be part of and witness the inaugural Empower Awards. I would like to commend the Nation Media Group for the vision and the leadership in organizing this initiative and event, for their dedication to promoting gender equality in Uganda and across the nation. I would also like to thank all the sponsors. That is the Equity Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, Uganda Breweries, HF Uganda Care, Center for Health, Human Rights and Development, and ATC Uganda. And for the time we have been here, we have already heard from the guest of honor, Professor Sejaka, the MD of NMU, and the panel that have already set the scene as to why it is important and very critical that we empower women. And for us at KPMG, where I work, and KPMG is an audit, tax and advisory firm with offices here in Uganda and across the world. And one of the things to do is to review information for purposes of authenticity. And when we're approached by NMG to be part of this initiative, we are really, really excited and happy, given what we know about empowerment of women. Because at KPMG we believe in women empowerment. And we know that when you empower a woman, you empower the homes in which they live, you empower the organizations in which they serve, you empower the society in which they live, and you empower the countries in which they reside. And most importantly, you make the world a better place. Because we don't know how the world would be without women. Professor, can you envisage a world without women? The Empower initiative resonates with the value proposition of women in leadership that we at KPMG are promoting. That is what we call Wheeler Agenda. And that's why we feel being part of this is very, very important. And as KPMG, one of the things that we have done is to put in place policies, structures, systems to empower women with a deliberate agenda to have a 50-50 gender ratio and to attain at least a 30% women in leadership by 2025. That is something that we are working towards. People who have done audit, you know that at some point, ladies fall off. However, we are asking ourselves why. And we are deliberate on this and working towards that KPI. The renowned Kenyan writer and academic Ngugi wa Thiong'o said, "The condition of women in a nation is the real measure of its progress." So, in our organizations, we need to be progressive in our thinking, in our actions, in our policies, in our systems, in our structures, and in our initiatives that support empowerment and the development of society. Today, one of the reasons I'm here is to let you know about the procedure that we went through to determine the entities that are going to be awarded tonight. And I'm so impressed and inspired by the achievements of the organizations that we are honoring today. These organizations are not only creating more inclusive and equitable environments for women, but they are also setting an example for others to follow. They are demonstrating that empowering women is not only the right thing to do, but also the smart thing to do. So, this evening we are here to honor two categories of organizations that empower women in their workplaces and beyond, with the Empower Award and the Woman of the Future Award. The background to these awards. The Nation Media Group, in a collaboration with KPMG, put a call to the entries for the 2024 Empower Awards. The inaugural Empower Awards seek to honor organizations that have structures and programs in place that promote gender equality at their workplaces, have women representatives in management and decision-making processes, and have drawn women to top positions as part of efforts to ensure that more qualified women attain leadership positions. So we looked also at the process, how the leaders who are ladies in these organizations came to be. The awards provide a landscape for organizations from various sectors to be recognized for their effort in addressing fundamental inequities that hinder women from becoming leaders. It is important to note that participation in this initiative or survey was voluntary and is voluntary because we know this is the beginning and we are going to have many more in the coming years. So, for the two awards that we are going to, for the people we are going to honor today, the Empower Award, what criteria did we follow? For the Empower Award, this recognizes organizations that promote gender equality at their workplaces, that have substantial women representation in management and decision-making processes. For an entity to qualify to be ranked within this category, it must have had at least 50% women representation in management and decision-making processes. So, among the entries that we received, only those which had at least 50% women representation in management and decision-making processes were ranked in the Empower Award. And you realize that we had planned to award 10 in this category, but out of the entrants that we got, we only got 9 that met that criteria, and they are the ones that are going to be awarded tonight. Then the other award is the Woman of the Future Award, which recognizes unique and impactful organization initiatives that advance gender balance in the workplace. Entrants were expected to have enabling factors like HR policies, systems and structures in place to support women from within the company to step up the ladder. And we are looking at policies, and at the same time, we are also looking at the systems and structures that shows that these policies are being implemented. So when it came to ranking, we gave weights, with the weight looking at practical implementation being higher than the weight of just having policies, because some organizations have policies, but they're on paper. So, from a participation perspective, we had organizations from across different sectors: banking, non-government organizations, academia, ICT, fashion, telecommunications, and government agencies. And I'll just give a very brief highlight of what we observed. 57% of the respondents highlighted presence of mentorship programs where experienced leaders support aspiring female leaders. And they had leadership programs where some organizations sponsor aspiring female leaders for external and